Hello, young St. Peter's friends. You might remember that on our Holy Week walk on Sunday, we talked about how Good Friday was an odd name for a day that somebody died. How could that be good? And it's true. It was a bad day when Jesus died. Even though he didn't do anything wrong, people said he did, and nobody stood up for him. Everybody was worried about what might happen to them, or what their boss might say, or what people might think. So nobody spoke up. Nowadays, we have a system where somebody has to stand up for someone when they're accused of doing something wrong. But back then, it wasn't like that. So Jesus got treated like a criminal who had done something terrible, even though he hadn't. And he died on a cross. But remember how I said that some good came out of this, that God did some good things on this day? Jesus always kept his heart of love the whole time. He asked God to forgive the people who were hurting him, and he made sure that his mom would have somebody to take care of her when he was gone. That might not seem like much, but all the way until he died, he kept his heart of love, and he showed us that we could do the same. He saved us from thinking that violence was the only way to go when things got bad. He gave goodness when things were bad, and people changed after that. One guy, Joseph, from a place called Arimathea, he had been a secret follower of Jesus. He didn't want to tell anybody because he was afraid he would lose his job, because his bosses were people who didn't like Jesus. But when Jesus died, Joseph of Arimathea suddenly found a new courage in his heart. And he asked the government people if he could have Jesus' body so that he could take care of it. That was a brave thing to do. And they gave their permission. He was allowed. Joseph never would have done that before. But something new came into his heart that day. And do you remember Nicodemus? He was a man who came to ask Jesus some questions, but he also was afraid of what people would think of him and about losing his job. So he had to come at night when nobody could see him. Well, on this day, Nicodemus became brave also, and he helped Joseph, and the two of them took care of Jesus' body. They did things that they never thought they could do. A new love and a new courage had come to their heart. It's possible to have both things going on at the same time. Sadness and love. I know that it's hard for you right now to be without the people you play with, to be without other family members, to give them a hug. You can't even go to the park. It's kind of a really long, bad day. And you might be feeling sad or anxious, and maybe angry or afraid. Well, just like Jesus' friends long ago, you might need to have a cry. It's a good thing to cry. When sadness sits inside our heart, it's not a good thing. It gets kind of feeling heavy in there. So, feeling like you need to cry when you're sad, it's a good thing to do. Go ahead. And then, when you are ready, remember that you can give yourself the blessing. May I be strong. May I be brave. May I be well. May I be at peace. And you can give that blessing to your friends and to your family. And with the love that you have in your heart, you bring kindness and good to the world, just like Jesus, just like Joseph, just like Nicodemus, just like Jesus' mother and her friends. Some traditions that we observe on Good Friday are things like going for a walk on what's called the Stations of the Cross. Well, one thing we can do is go for a walk and stop every once in a while to remember some of the goodness that's in our lives, or to stop and pray to God for some strength in this troubled time. You simply just need to say the words, if it's a prayer of thanksgiving, God, thank you for all that is good. Or if it's a prayer for strength, God, help me to be strong. Something else that you can do is to set kindness stones along the path where you walk. Kindness rocks are rocks that have a message on them that give courage and strength to other people. I have some rocks that I made. They can have hearts or smiley faces or words on them like love and brave and you are good. And then you go for a walk and you place the stones along the way. Another place that the rocks can go is to the Kindness Rocks garden that our friend Jackie Belleni has set up near the public health building on Paris Street. There's a little Kindness Rocks garden right by the sign. Now you'll need some adults to come with you or to take them there so that other people who need some strength can pick up the rock and actually receive your prayer in the form of a stone. So Jackie Belleni has made us a video to talk to us about how to make kindness rocks, and she's given us some instructions, and we'll make sure that those are available to you on our website or on the YouTube channel. One of the things that I did was I didn't have everything that Jackie suggested, so I just looked in my craft box to see what I had. And I had some paint, so I just made a painted background, and then I took a Sharpie and I made the heart, and then I had some Mod Podge like this, and I painted that over because I hoped that that would keep the rain off. But you can use whatever you have to make a message on a rock. Now, sometimes people don't want to be using markers and making rocks, but maybe you could be a rock making helper. Maybe you can go and find the stones with a little bit of flatness on the top. Or maybe you can be someone who makes a little box or some kind of Kindness Rocks garden out of Lego or cardboard or something like that, so that when the others in your family make kindness rocks, that you can put them in that little spot, and then when someone goes out for a walk, they can bring these words of kindness and blessing when they go. Sometimes people don't like doing crafts and drawing stuff. Sometimes people like to send a note or something as well, and you can get an adult to help you if you need that, and send a note to somebody in the mail with encouraging words. So I've got hope, and I've got a heart, and I've got love. And when I go out for a walk, I'll put them along the path where I think somebody might see them. These are just suggestions. There are many, many ways to bring goodness into a bad day. Helping in the kitchen, giving hugs, breathing fresh air, finding out what's going on the earth while the spring is coming. On Good Friday, we remember that we can work with God to bring good into difficult times. I hope that you find lots of good on Good Friday. I brought the cross back from Sunday to remind us that we can bring good into the world as we plant food, play with one another, and we see there in this cross Jesus with his arms around the children. This cross reminds us that God loves us. And even though we're in a difficult time, God's love is always there. It's in our hearts, it's in our families, and it's in our friends. I wish you a good Friday. I'll see you next time.